Yeah, because for me, again, I just keep going back to that thing. Like, like when I paid off my place, it was like the most unsatisfying moment of my life. So I paid it off, and then I went to the bank. I said, I'm gonna pay off this apartment. I paid off the apartment. I left, and it was like, all I saw was a number in my account that I put let's say 5,000 hours to accumulate, disappear, and nothing changed in my life. Like, it was ruthless. Like, I've never felt so empty in my life. And I said, this is a crime. Whatever society sold me on was bullshit. And then what I did was go to Ecuador. Same thing, all this money left in my account, representing 5,000 hours, and I had the greatest experience of my life. You know, because I was there building. We were solving problems. It was exciting. We worked on it. I worked with a great team. It was amazing. And I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, this is, like, when I was making my films, I worked half a day, made film. Like, that was the greatest thing.
Outcome is the same. Just the experience that you have is different, right?
Right? Same outcome. And it's just like, okay, so this is a fraud. This is, and maybe it's different because I never lived in the place. Let's say if I built it and made it my home and made it great, I might be more attached to it. But it was like, so when I did that, I kind of came to these realizations, like, I'm selling my soul for money, doing something I don't like. If I would have done, let's say, 7 years of making content instead of going 7 years into, because I always kind of have like an interest to do this, but you know, you're kind of scared to post it. Because, but if I would have just focused on something I liked, I probably would have had the exact same amount of wealth, and I would have had fun the whole time. Even though the patch taught me such great lessons, like I'll never take it back, because like, it taught me like everything of how to like get her done. But it's just, okay, we hit there. It's like, now we're doing a rehaul. Like, we're gonna work on things that I like to do. So fuck the profits, fuck the money. What I'm going for is, how do I do shit? So I like to talk about people, and I'm curious, right? Okay, how do I ask better questions? Okay, how do I make a better video? How do I build a more beautiful place? Or how am I gonna build it this time? Who can I bring in? Because it's funner when people are involved, you know? So that's what happened. And
that's what everybody should do.
And then another thing I discovered was, when I was 16, I had, $1,000 to my name, right? And I had a car and a house over my head, and I had some friends to hang out with. And then when I was 25, I had maybe $50,000 to my name, and I had a car and I had a roof over my head. And then now I'm 34 and I have, more. And it's just like, I still have a car, I still have a roof over my head, and nothing's changed. So the whole net worth of everything, I still eat bacon and eggs in the morning. I still hang out and play soccer with my friends. I go climbing. I still stay in shape. Nothing has changed. So this whole concept is fucking insane to me now. Like, when you have all these, like, oh, this is like, when I hit this number, my life's gonna be this, and my life, it's like, nothing's changed. So I just feel like I've been duped, and I'm stupid. And now, so now
everything's the same. Nothing.
All this, you should do this, hey, you should do that, you should go to school. Nothing's changed. Everything's the fucking same. I hang out with my homies, I climb, I get in shape, and I still buy beer. And all I've done is drink less and become more ambitious on certain niche topics. And I am just like, and I guess you have to go there to understand that when you get there, it was fucking stupid.
That's what I did as well, right?
Right? You're just like,
cut everything off, that's it. Because you can do much better than you're doing. Everybody can. It doesn't even matter if you're smarter or not. Everybody's good at something, right? So it just doesn't matter how are you managing your time and what are you doing with your time. Cut off all the bullshit and let's focus on one thing that you are doing, and that's it. Whatever you like to do. 150%,
because it's just if you just focus on doing stuff you like to do, you're gonna get a better result. People are gonna resonate with you more.
If you enjoy what you're doing, somebody else will find the joy in that as well.
Man, I know, because I love making content now, right? And I got my little posse that comes and helps me sometimes. And it's freaking dope. we're figuring out how are we gonna make this video sick. You know, like how are we gonna do it?
Like, there is no such a thing on oil patch when you go and dig a hole or something. You know, how are we gonna do that?
Yeah, oh man,
Is there?
like that's not my gig, but I'm with guys that are like hardcore and they're like, yeah, we go this angle, blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, because they love it, because that's their gig.
Yeah, and they're making money, that they're happy, and that's it, you know. But for example, when I was working for somebody else, I felt miserable. I didn't want to be so. When I was a kid, I wanted to be I didn't want to be a mechanic, but I always had interest into it. When I started working as a mechanic, it was fun at the beginning when I was learning, but when I learned and when I was actually became a manager, when all the responsibility was on me and I was paid like dirt, nothing, next to nothing, with all the responsibility, I started asking myself, like, is this what I want to do? Like, is this it? You know, like, is that what I'm going to do? Is that like for the rest of my life, for next 30 whatever years, I'm going to work here, bust my ass, so somebody can tap my shoulder and say, if even they tap my shoulder, you know, like, you know, they mostly say, you know, it's okay, you did okay job, you know, so you don't ask for more money if he says, oh, well done, you know, like, so you're always working for nothing, and I got disgusted with the whole thing, you know, with being mechanic and working like that, and at one point I didn't want to be any more mechanic, you know. But that was what I always had interest in. I always had mechanical knowledge, you know, how to. When I was a kid, I would take a watch apart and put it back together for fun because I wanted to see how it works. Why does it work? You know, what makes it work? You know, how did they build it? What came to their head to make it that way so it works, right? So I was always into that kind of stuff. So cars, it's next level from watches and stuff, simple stuff like that, toys and that stuff. So I got disgusted with the whole thing, right? I didn't want to be any more mechanic, you know, and I went to look what I'm gonna do. I don't know anything else. Only thing I know how to do is fix.
Like a hard question. What am I? I think that's the number one question. Went from 18 to like 25, I did not know what I wanted.
What do I want?
What am I gonna do?
And then you try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it all comes down to the same thing, you know. You're just doing something there to make some money so you can survive, and that's where you go to sleep, and you're miserable, you know.
Drink.
And then until you drink, you smoke to kill some time that you have free to forget about that
so
work.
brain
That
doesn't
nightmare, brain doesn't think, you know.
You don't want
Until
that.
you say fuck it, you know, it's enough, you know. I know I can do much better. I know I can do whatever I want to do, and I'm gonna cut all the bullshit. You cut the drink, you cut the smoke, you cut everything, absolutely everything. Focus on one thing: how to make my life better, to do what I want to do. It doesn't matter. It's gonna pay off in some time.
And what else would you do?
Yeah.
What else would you do?
Because everybody is good at something. If they don't do that something that they are good in, what they are good for? You're just part of society. If you're going to work, going back home, that's it. You don't exist, right?
They're just called, I call them the flatliners. You just flatline.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
I understand for some people it's really hard to come to that, to gather the courage to start to say fuck everything, I'm gonna do whatever I like, and there is somebody gonna like it and support me in that. It's for some people, even for me, it was like not impossible at one point. There was no way to do it. No way.
Do what?
Because
So
to do whatever you like to do, right?
Yeah.
It was absolutely, at one point, it was so far that it was not reachable, because you have debts that you need to pay. Everybody is pulling your sleeve. Hey, you owe me this little bit. You bills, rent and this and that, and you have to always go to work. And then you have to be at work. You have to work. You be focused there. Work for those 8 hours. Be there. Like present. If you want to keep that job, and if you want to be good at your job and make more money, so you can easier pay the bills. So you don't have those 8 hours. You don't have the time to think about anything else what you like to do.
No, buddy.
And then after those 8 hours, you're so
spent.
drained that you come home and you want to forget about whatever happened in that day. And then you drink a beer or something, which puts you even in the worst position, because then whatever left time from the day you had to think about what you want to do and about yourself,
it's brutal.
It's again wasted, you know. And
the thing is, what you have to do is you got to like, you have to save up money to get 3 months where you work on your craft, or 6 months. So like I would do, 7-8 months in the patch. I would save up money. So, you have all this money you saved up and you're just like, I'm going to go for it. And then you dump it on one of your projects and it doesn't reveal fruit, right?
Yeah.
So you got to go back. So like one of the projects was I would go build a road. I bought a piece of land in Ecuador, and then next year I built a road. So that, that cost me $15,000 US. And then the next year was a water line. That was $8,000. And then, to build the whole project, that's like 100,000, almost 100,000 American. And so you got to build up and you got to build up and you get sadder and sadder because you're just like, I'm not going anywhere. Like,
yeah. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a good thing. Because if you made a mistake, you're not going to make the same mistake ever again. You learned a lot from that, So you can only make, when you're in the same position next time, you can only make the situation way better. And you're going to think way more in advance than you did before, right?
But it's those little moments where I got to work on those projects that were personally mine were the greatest moments ever. They became so addictive where you're just like, I need to go make some more and go do this, because working on my own shit is, to me, the greatest thing ever. Like it was the best moments of my life was working with a team to build something that was like my creation.
Yeah. Because you put yourself in.
Well, yeah, it's just like some people, like to take things apart and put them together. Some people like to create, have a vision and create that. Some people like to help build that vision. Like everyone has a skill set.
Challenging yourself. And how did you come up with a solution to solve the issue that you are working on? And then you get impressed with yourself. How I remember that was good, like I did it this good, or I fucked up this, and then you learn, okay, why did I fuck it up? What did it go wrong? Was my idea bad, or did I make some mistakes in the way? Just analyzing every single step, right?
So how was like when growing up in Croatia? What was the deal there? Like when you were in Croatia?
It was beautiful, basically.
So, and what was like growing up there? Like, cause clearly you have like your mentality is like, fuck it, I'm gonna go get what I want. Well, how was growing up like in Croatia? Like this, cause were you growing up in communist Croatia?
No, absolutely. I was born way after that. Quite a few years after.
So the Iron Curtain fell, and then you.
Yeah, because I was born right before the war, and in war we separated from the ex-Yugoslavia. Right. But ex-Yugoslavia was already kinda in a bad position because president that we had died a long time before
Tito.
that, right? Tito, yeah.
He was the good one, right?
He was, people loved him because everybody was having their own job, everybody was making money, everything was in line, everything was well sorted, right? So people didn't lack anything, right? Everybody knew what they are doing and their role in the whole thing, right? So everybody felt important, and nobody struggled to pay the bills or anything like that, right? When comparing to the way after, when the politics and everything else came in place, when it was Croatia after Yugoslavia, where you can find people now, no matter what you do, you can't make a living. So there is actually one documentary on the national television, and it really kind of struck with me, because it's called Forever Parents, Forever Kids. and they're explaining how the kids that are actually the people that are growing up, that are working, can move out of their parents' house to live on their own because they cannot make enough money, because one single wage doesn't cover you anything. You can pay the rent, that's it. And then you have the bills, you have a food, you have a registration for the vehicle, you have all the other expenses, right? That you cannot pay by yourself if you live in an apartment, right?
Right.
So what they do, they live in the communities, right? Either they live with a partner where they pay a small apartment, cheap apartment, and with another wage pay they live through the month, or either they stay with parents in the house and then they live together with the parents. So it's basically come down to forever parents, forever kids, because they are staying in one house all together.
But that also has a lot of advantage as well, right? Because then you're a very strong team, strong community, right?
Yes, but it has a big psychological impact on the young people, right? Because young people, everybody wants to be free, everybody wants to make their own living, move out of the parents' house, get a family, make the family, like have the kids live on their own, pay their own bills, some responsibility.
Was that Croatia after it separated and became Croatia? So
not right after it became like that. It started to becoming like that after 2004, the first crisis hit, right?
So after the .com.
Yeah.
.com crisis happened, then
Yeah.
whatever the politics were, it just got brutal.
Till then, from 1996 until 2004, everybody had money. It was great. Everybody was living good.
Is there similarities of that 04 crisis to what it is now in Canada?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, there is some, right? But
like, what is it? The feeling, or is it like how was it the government that was taxing you to make everyone poor during that 04 moment?
The 04, no, yeah, basically it came down to that. But inflation happened, right? So and then of course people were left with and also another thing that was going on. Most of people had mortgages in the Switzerland. Francs, right?
Right.
And the mortgages, the 2004 crisis hit, the Switzerland francs went down. So all the mortgages prices went up super high. People couldn't pay it. That's when the people started losing money. So the government also had a credit, and whole country had a credit in the Switzerland money, and they started losing money, blah blah blah. So they raised taxes. People couldn't pay the mortgages. There was no money. People that had money were hiding money because they didn't know what's going to happen tomorrow. The government raised the taxes, and then people started paying like everything cash. So government didn't make money even more, right? So it all was big chain when one thing
they tried to fix it and they kept screwing themselves over
and over, and it was all connected, right? From housing to the groceries, through gas prices that went up, to wages staying the same, and all the prices.
So there's a lot of similarities. The government's putting up these taxes. We have inflation going up.
Exactly.
It's bleeding the people.
Exactly.
And the people are going to find ways to get around it.
Wages are staying the same. Prices are going up. Prices of the gas, like a normal living that you have to afford yourself, right? So how are you going to afford? When I came to Canada with a minimum wage, which was at that time $13 per hour, you could rent yourself apartment, one bedroom apartment for $850. You could pay your registration, insurance. You could buy yourself food, pay for the gas, and you would be at the end of the month probably left with $200-300 when you pay everything. Now it's it's absolutely impossible for one person to live on their own with a minimum wage.
Right.
Even although the minimum wage is $15 an hour.
Right.
So,
well, yeah, because it went up,
Yeah.
Like, look at fuel. Fuel in 2 years has gone up 50%. Like it's insane.
And nothing else is going up besides the cost of living, right? So that's what's happening, right? So people are gonna start to look for alternatives, how to keep the money that is coming in.
We're gonna humans will find a way. And so there is a lot of similarities there. So
because another thing is that a lot of people back home, when the taxes were 25% taxes, not taxes, GST, on everything you buy, whatever you buy in store, you pay 25% more to the government. And whatever it is, right? Quarter more. So people started paying cash for everything. To this day, I'm here in Canada 10 years. To this day, my customers from back home that are coming to me, they're asking, can I get a deal if it's cash? It so got into their head deep, because everything was cash. Everywhere where you were going, you trying to pay cash so you can save those 25%, right?
Right.
To not pay the government, because it's a rip off. Starting that you're not making money, not paying bills, and even government is ripping you off for 25% whatever you pay, Fuck that, so they are still, even here it's 5%, it doesn't make a difference. On $10,000 that you're paying something, $500 is the GST, right? Not bad at all. They're still asking me, can I get a deal if it's cash, so it got so deep into their head, and they just got used to the whole mentality there and way of living, right?
During the growing up part, let's say before that moment happened, like what were the benefits of living in Croatia? When you were in Croatia, everyone had money during this time, did you ever have thoughts of leaving? Did you ever have a desire to leave?
No, absolutely not.
Because you got your family there, you got your parents.
But my family, everybody in my family was upper middle class, I would say, and everybody's taking their time. There is no rush, there is no panicking, there is no nervous situations. I have to do this. Nobody that has to do anything. So everybody's taking their time, and everything is going kind of at a slower pace, right? So you would go every year. You go on a vacation for a month. You go on the coast. However somebody can afford, right? People that have something on the coast like a property, they take a month off, right? People that don't have property on the
So you were living, is what you're saying. You were living.
Absolutely.
You weren't working to live, you were living to work. Or the other way around.
In the winter you go in Alps, in Austria, you ski, right? Summertime you go on the coast in Croatia and you swim and stuff like that. So there was always something to do, and people enjoyed it. It was absolutely like paradise. Even my grandpa was always telling me, trust me, we have a paradise. Croatia is a paradise. Trust me, you'll see one day. And it is, definitely is. There is I'm not sure if it's 10 million people, but millions and millions of people every summer coming in Croatia on the coast to visit, right? So there must be something there.
What was your relationship with your grandpa? Because I don't think you didn't have a dad, right?
Yeah, I have a dad, but he was not for too long part of my life, right?
Right.
Yeah, he was there until when I was 10. And after that, he was flaking off. He had his issues and stuff like that. But I had a really good relationship with the grandpa and grandma. They were well educated people and well read. And luckily, I spent a lot of time with them and learned a lot. And
what did he teach you?
A lot of stuff about life, about everything, right? You
just spending.
About mushrooms. We would go every year in a mushroom hunting, right? So we would go in the woods, walk through the woods and find all the different kinds of mushrooms, talk about them, then come home, clean them, make them, eat them, so some stuff like that. Grandpa was into bees, so we would take care of bees here and there, with him, put that whole suit, mesh suit, and then go take care of bees, smoke them so they don't kind of get crazy. Little stuff like that, pick up the honey, then process the honey, however, press it or whatever you do. and stuff like that. Little, little things in life that actually are really like a foundation of life. So you learn stuff. You know how it goes with grandpa and grandma.
They're great.
Yeah, you always learn some stuff with them.
So then, so Croatia was paradise.
Yeah.
Then 04.
Still is for people that have money.
Yeah,
right?
it is. But when did you start to want to leave Croatia? Like, when did you say, I'm done? Like, I need to get out of here?
Not too long after I started working, right? When I finished the school. When I finished the school, I was 18.
Okay.
So I started working even earlier through the school, and you have to have that practical. Back home in a school, you have 3 days of working. Where you go and do the practical how do they call it, a practical
exam?
No, it's not exam, it's just the practical. They call it practical because that's when you go and you do whatever you learned in school. So you have in a week of school 2 days of school, 3 days of work.
Right.
An apprenticeship, yeah. And so I was working even before I finished the school, but however, when I finished the school, I had to go work because in the family we were not at that time in a good position, so I had to go and work right away. And since 18 till 24, I was working. When I was 22, I became a manager in a company when I was working, and I was working for 2 years as a manager, and I didn't make any money. So I had lots of stress, lots of responsibility, not making money. My bills were not getting paid. It was not going anywhere. I would barely manage every month. And I knew I can do much better than that. Nothing wrong with me. I have some strength, I have some knowledge, I know how things work. Is this really that I'm gonna be doing for the rest of my life? So there is only 2 possible scenarios. Either you leave, you try to do something, either you stay and you remain quiet for the rest of your life, and that's it. So what do I want? That's first what I ask. What do I want? I want a change, right? So okay, what if I do the change? What if it doesn't work? It doesn't matter. I can always come back, and he's gonna always take me back because I'm an amazing worker, right? Yeah. I work for no money and I do a lot of work, right? So,
it's a good deal.
Yeah, great deal. So I can always come back if it doesn't work. Okay, so what am I losing if I take my chances? Do I really want to become old, die one day, and ask myself, what if I tried? What if I tried? What would be the outcome? Would I succeed? Would I fail? What if I tried? So do I really want to spend my life like that, just wondering what if? Let's do it. That's it. I have to go somewhere. And then I started talking to my friends because they also had the same idea. Because having a job in Croatia, it basically comes down to barely scraping and spending all your time on the job, to make some money that you won't even see.
It's starting to sound like Canada.
Yeah, that money is gonna go away as soon as you get it.
Yeah.
You're not gonna even get it.
Right.
Yeah. So I started talking to friends because they had the same idea. Where do we go?
That was my next question. Like, where are you gonna go? What options did you have? And then why did you pick Canada? Because it's cold.
So we have few options from Croatia. Most of people go to Germany because it's kind of really close, 5 hours from Croatia. They have really good economy. For the newcomers, it's not so great, but still you can you can afford like basic living. You can rent your own apartment, pay for your own food, your own expenses. Maybe you're gonna be left with a little bit of money, but it doesn't matter. You're gonna have your expenses paid, which in Croatia didn't happen, right? You can't live on your own.
Right.
If I stayed there, I would bring the family, my wife and kids, and in my mother's house. She doesn't want that. She doesn't want to take care of my kids and have a whole bunch of bullshit going on when she's getting older, when she raised her kids and finally got rid of them, to have some time for herself. And now again, kids, like a whole bunch of mess around the house and all that stuff. Nobody wants that, right?
Well, some do. Like I was just in Cambodia, and that's how they run their families. It's very... The three generations are in one house, and they're all pitching in, and they all benefit. So it's a strong approach.
Do you think it would be the same if they had other opportunities? If they had opportunities to have everybody each their own house, one next to each other.
I agree, but if you can change that mentality, it is a strong approach to life. If you can withstand that one discomfort, you can project your family in a way better position. I've come to that realization now. Me as an individual, me living on my own, makes me weak, and it's just like, okay, if I took a different approach and saying me being an individual, and I said, okay, how can I? I don't really want to live with my parents either, but is there different approaches that we can take?
Nobody wants, but it's taking care of yourself. It's being a man in a life, being a grown-up person.
Agreed,
part
100%.
of you have to experience it.
You have to experience it.
Yeah, you can't stay forever.
My shift is now back. It's like, what can I do to help my clan now? Like, what value can I bring? So now it's like my shift has changed where it's like being on my own is weak. I need to find like-minded people.
But being all together in 024, living in the same household, it's not a way either.
Unless it's by design because you went out and made your own. And now you're like, Mom, you're living with us now because we're going to take care of you, you're going to take care of the kids. Everyone has a purpose.
Still, you're not going to be in the same room all together. She's going to have her own apartment in your big complex or whatever. So see that everybody is, again, living on their own, right? So which, in my perspective, was a normal way of living. That's how the life goes.
Right.
You're born, your parents take care of you, and when you can take care of yourself, you go and that's it, and then you have a even better relationship than when you're 024 together, because you're interrupting them, they're interrupting you, and you're living and they're living, and it's not a healthy relationship altogether. So we started looking Germany are the options. We had Germany, we had Amsterdam. Was one of the options. Amsterdam was basically, it was a little bit better than Croatia, not better than Germany, but everybody knew English there. Because in school, we were all taught English, right? Nobody was, maybe few people were learning German, but most of people are English. Shows are on English, movies are on English, music is on English, global language is English. So everybody knows mostly English. So that's what kind of was my main reason to go to the Amsterdam instead of Germany, is because you can communicate way better and you can manage yourself in that kind of environment way easier than, for example, Germany, where I don't know a single word,
starting from scratch.
So let's take advantage a little bit of that I already know, right? So and then it popped up the Canada. Lots of my neighborhood people from my neighborhood were living there in Canada, and I had one friend. Her brother was living in Canada for a long time. We all knew him. He was coming in the neighborhood, so we were kind of knew each other, but we were never friends or nothing like that. We saw each other maybe a few times. So Canada became a thing because lots of our neighborhood people were going there, and it was perfect opportunity. You're making money. It's a good living there. It's English speaking country, and we already have somebody that we know from a neighborhood over there. So it came down to no-brainer. We are going in Canada.
You don't have America as an option or Australia?
For America, you couldn't go there without visa. You had to get approved for visa in order to get in America. And even if you do, you only get a tourist visa, right? So you couldn't go there, and you could, but
It's risky.
yeah. At one point, actually, I almost went in America because my ex-girlfriend's her family was in Chicago, so she got the papers. Her mom actually got the papers, so she got the papers from her mom, so we could have moved to the Chicago, right? But yeah, it never happened, and we broke up not too long after that. Because I had to get married in order to go in Chicago with her, and if I get married, we have
She's
kids.
crazy.
And I'm only 21. Do I really want kids and marriage at only 21? I can take care of myself, not like wife and kids, like it was not just a thing. I wasn't ready for that, not at all.
So you chose Canada, you had the networks. Did you have, what about, so Australia not an option?
No, not an option.
England was an option?
Not at that time. Later on, Ireland became an option because we became a European Union.
Right.
And Ireland became a European Union as well, so you could just go there
And then start working.
Right. Without any papers. So that was after I was already in Canada, right?
Okay.
So I came in Canada and started looking for a job.
And then when you got here, what did you think? You're like, yes. And when you compare Canada to back then, what do you think about it now? So because you came here, 10 years ago, 12 years ago? 10 years ago. So you came here 10 years ago and you're just like, I can make money, I can start doing this, I can start living a little bit more. And then what was your initial response when you came
I
here?
saw that people are making money. Some a little bit smarter people are making way more money, and really smart people are making killing.
Right.
And that was enough for me. If somebody else can, why can't I?
Right. Yeah.
Why can't I? What makes me different?
Right.
So let's put it back. What comes down to the difference that they are making money and I'm not. So I have hands. I can work. I know how to work. I'm physically fine. So the only difference is knowledge. They know something that I don't, right? So knowledge, you can always gain knowledge. So let's learn what they know and I don't, so I can also make money. Okay. And that's when I see that somebody does, it's enough for me. So I can as well. There is nothing that's stopping you, no matter how long it's gonna take, no matter what it's gonna take. If you wanna do it, you're gonna do it.
Okay.
And that's about it, right?
And so if we can compare when you first arrived to what Canada is now, is it getting harder?
Oh yeah. For sure.
So Canada's tightening up, making things more difficult. But when
there is no so much money as back in 2014 when I came, you would walk down the street and every single business had a sign, now hiring. Walk down the street now and maybe from 100 businesses there's gonna be 2 signs now hiring. Yeah.
And then this is kind of another interesting thing. Back in the day when Croatia was doing after 2004, what was the propaganda like the media? What were they selling you on? So one thing I really noticed in Canada, we sell fear constantly. We sell division, we sell this. What was it like back in Croatia? What were during that particular moment in time?
I don't really remember because I was still in school. I did not care for politics. I still don't care much for politics. I'm not into it. I'm just going with the flow. However it is, I adapt to it and that's it. That's the best you can do, right? So I don't know much about politics and I'm not too deep into it, but I know that people are constantly having hope. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. And it would never get better, people would be dying and getting older and they would still hope it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better.
Yeah. Hopefully the government will make it better.
Yeah, of course, because they're hoping that government is doing something that it's gonna be better. But for everything that's you're hoping for, there has to be a time limit. until what time you're ready to hope and wait.
I don't think they should
That's
ever
what
put a
I
time
do.
limit. You always take action, you know?
Not necessarily, because sometimes you can take action for some, and I'm not talking specifically about crisis and this situation about the politics. For some stuff, it's worth of waiting a little bit.
But
Give
like
it
at
a
least
chance.
like you know, like waiting for like you to work on a business. But if you're being stagnant and not moving, and it's just like I'm waiting for them to wait, like that is a recipe for disaster.
Constantly working on
To
on
try to
the-
get
yeah.
there, and that's the patience. we're talking
Exactly,
about.
yeah. But until when are you saying, okay, it's enough of this bullshit? I'm
Yeah.
now no longer waiting for a change. I'm gonna make a change. I'm gonna
make the change.
make something different. Fuck them, you know.
So, what was immigrating to Canada like? Was it challenging? Can you say, let's say if you picked out the easiest part of immigrating to Canada and then the hardest part, what was those two?
I got pretty lucky. For me, it was really easy.
Okay, why?
Somewhat easy, let's say. But for some people, they had a really pain.
But why was it easy for you?
Because I had a skill. Because I was a mechanic back home.
Well, that's what we want.
Yeah.
Like that's like to me, Canada should be run like a business, and you should only be coming to Canada if you possess a skill that we need. And I mean, I'm not trying to shit on any immigrants. Like, I got a whole bunch of friends that are immigrants, you know. But it's just you need to bring some level of value to this country. You know, we don't want stupid people.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want
I'm
freeloaders.
hoping here you're gonna come and do nothing and money is gonna come in. Okay, for some people it works. They're not gonna do anything. They're gonna live on a little bit of
Little
money.
government checks and,
Yeah, and it's gonna be fine for them. But for me and most of people that I know, that doesn't work, right? Why I wouldn't do better if I know I can?
Right.
So
this
if
is
there is a chance, if there is a possibility, why I don't know, like I can be ignorant and say, no, it's okay for me, you know, like I have enough for myself, you know, like what you probably heard before of some met people that are like that, but
I try to stay away from them.
it doesn't hurt, you know. My grandpa was an adventurous person, was not scared to take any responsibility and to do anything and try anything and learn new stuff and be good at new stuff that he tried. So what, I'm gonna be a coward? And it's okay.
I think that's that thing that people have this like crippling thing, like if I'm not good at this, I'm not gonna do it. Like I do things all the time where it's just like you start it and you suck so bad and it's like, well, I know if I do a year of this, I'll get better. I know if I use 2 years, I'll be better than 1 year.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's just like
then analyze wherever you were bad, whatever you were doing that it was not making any progress or whatever. Analyze it. What did I do? Why did I do it? How did I do it? When did I do it? You know, and put it on the paper and see where you're bad, where you're good, and try to balance those things. Try to make it better. Because that's all that it comes down to be better every single day.
100%. So now this is kind of cool. So you immigrated from Canada. You immigrated to Canada, right? And then, you know, you were there for a couple of years, and then you decided to get your own business started. So what was the journey of that? Like for every person that wants to start a business, immigrants that come into Canada, you know, you came here with nothing, then eventually you took the leap of faith and you started a business, and now your business keeps on thriving and growing. And like you said, you had the courage to go do it. You know, you went into the unknown. You know, and I know the feeling of that. But how did it start? Why did you do it? Like where were you in the point of life when you decided to take that leap?
I just wanted more money. That's all it was. That was the main decision. I wanted more money. Because I saw that if you are working for somebody, they decide how much you're gonna make. And no matter how hard you try, no matter what you're doing, how good you are, it's gonna come down to them if they are gonna give you more money or not, right?
And you're on their terms. You're on their terms.
Exactly, yeah. And so it was not a possibility. I wanted more money. It was not a possibility to work for somebody and wait for more money. Hopefully, more money is gonna come. They're gonna be generous, like say, you did good now. Here's a little bit of more money for you. Well, the only way you can get more money is to make more money. Make it yourself. Nobody's gonna give you money. Nobody wants to give you money. Even if you're greatest of all time, they're gonna give you money, but they're gonna take way more money for themselves because you're making money for them, not for yourself.
Well, the smart ones don't. The smart ones do it where you get and that's how the big businesses get big.
Yes.
Because they really know their talent when there's talent, and they make sure that person stays. It's called the golden handcuff.
Yeah.
They make sure you can't leave.
Yeah, I know this as well. It is, but not in my case. It was a possibility, but not in my case. Those are mostly people with
super salesmen.
Yeah, with way more with skills where there are way more chances to make more money.
Right.
Like in my trade. No matter how many cars you fix, you're not gonna fix the car that it's gonna make to your boss like $1 million in 10 days, and he's gonna give you 100,000 from it. It was not a possibility. So what can I do in order to make more money? I have to go and make more money for myself. Start working on my own things and try to manage my own time, however I know and whatever I think is gonna make me more money. Right.
So like for me, like before I started my business, and before I went to Ecuador to build my dream house, that was like my purpose for like 7-8 years, is to build this house. But before that, man, I hit like the valley of despair. Like I was sad. I remember I was working in the oil patch, and I've been there for 7-8 years, and I remember exactly where I was. I was in the mixing shack, and I was so depressed. I did 3 hitches that were 50 days long. I'm on another hitch. I got a crew that's fighting all the time, and it's just the worst moment. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Exactly.
Like, what the fuck am I doing, man? Like, I am.
Is this it? Is this my life?
Am I just gonna keep selling my soul for a barrel of gold? Like, am I selling my soul for this? Like, am I not gonna start a business? Am I not gonna take the leap of faith? Like, am I not gonna build this bloody house and like I'm nothing. Like, I'm miserable, absolutely miserable. Yeah. I hate where I am in my life right now, and I just started to write. I always write down my thoughts, and I'm writing down my thoughts. This valley of despair, this absolute and it's one of the very pivotal moments. I said, I don't ever want to be here again. Okay, so I'm gonna do another 6 months in the oil patch. I'm gonna go build this house, and then I gotta go in a different direction. I don't know what direction, but I'm done with this. Yeah. I'm done with the golden handcuff. I'm done with working with people that aren't I had some great people on the crew, and I had some trash. And I'm sick of being around people I hate. I don't want to be around these people. I want to be around intelligently like-minded winners. And that's what happened, man. I built my house. It worked out really well. Had my dream house, and I came back and I started a business. But it was that moment that pushed me over the edge, where it's just like, I don't want to be here again. Did you have something like that?
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, tell me about it. Tell me about it, man. Tell me the valley of despair, because it's that stuff that I think there's so many people in the world, in Canada, in America, that are in the valley of despair. They don't know what to do, and I think that's why it's called depression. I would say that I was a moment of sadness or depression, but it was like that amazing.
Depression for sure.
But it was an amazing feeling, because I think it's my body's way to design. Like, Ryan, you are designed for something different. Yeah. You're not supposed to be here, and I will make you miserable until you leave. I will make your life hell. You will be in hell until you leave.
That's why you're here where you are right now.
Yeah. So
if that didn't happen, you would be satisfied somewhere else, and probably living somebody else's dream.
Like the inner soul, whatever, the spirit is like, no, like I'm going to make no pills for you. We're gonna be miserable until you stop. And that's what happened, man. And I think that's why people are in this. And I think it's important to hear these stories, to say, hey, you're there, you're feeling that valley of despair. That's your body telling you to get the fuck out. You're built for something better.
You know
So
how
tell me
many
about
of
it.
those things there is in Croatia, and you're so tied down to your employer, you cannot afford a day that you're not working. Here in Canada, people have free hands comparing to the Croatia.
Right.
What I mean is like you can, if you're a little bit smarter, you can work for 3-4 months. You're gonna save a little bit of money, and you can have 2-3 months off that you don't need to work, and you're gonna be able to pay your bills. Back home, you cannot afford a day of not working. Otherwise, it's so brutal. It so comes down to that. It's killing people. And I know so many people that are super smart. Like they could be like, it's not even talking about the money. They could influence so many people. They could be like brilliant people, you know, like, and they are alcoholics trying to just forget whatever happened and wherever they are, you know, they ruined their talent. They ruined themselves exactly for that.
So what about you? How about you? Like, where was your valley of despair?
When it first struck me, I have to make change. That's it. I have enough. Fuck this. I know I can do better. It was when I was working. I was manager in the shop back home.
Right.
So I was managing basically the whole business for the guy. I had 3 guys that were working for me. I was taking customers. I was talking to the customers. Every customer wants to tell you their story, so you have to listen there, you know, for half an hour, you know, whatever happens to him when he was going on the way to his work or whatever. Taking cars, ordering parts, picking up the parts, fixing vehicles, delivering the cars, diagnosing the cars, charging people, making bills and stuff, you know, like basically running the whole business, everything for like no money. And then my boss would call me. He would ask me, hey, why is this like this, you know, why is this that like that? So you have to make him happy, and your boys are complaining to you, you know, like, hey, why is this like this, why is that like that, you know, like, and then you have to make them happy, you know. So, and then you have to make customers happy, and for what? For the wage that everybody else has, you know, like the mechanic right next to me is making 500 kunas less than me, and I have all this responsibility answering the phone, and you have to answer the phone every time he calls you, and you're working on something. You have to drop everything, clean your hands, answer the phone call. There is like thousands of phone calls through the day, you know, like, then your family is calling you, then your friends are calling you, then his boss is calling you, then boys are calling you, then customers are calling you. Like, only phone calls, you have a handful of things to do, you know, to take care of those. And it was going like that for some time, for sure, for a year, and I had enough. I was going crazy because there was no way out. I didn't see myself. Okay, he might raise my pay, but what he's gonna raise it for? Like 500 kunas, which is $100, which I had an approximate wage in the country, right? How much he can raise it? If he raised it 3,000 kunas, it's still not gonna be enough for me for what I feel for amount of work I do.
Right.
So whatever, I can't count on him. That's it. So fuck this. This is not my options. I have to die. I have to do something. So that's how I left. I came in Canada. I started working in Canada. It was great. I was making some money, this and that, you know. But I still know that I can do way better than what I'm doing.
Did you get comfortable at all? During the Canada stint, or did you like get, you know, comfortable? Like, yeah, I can be here. I'll drink my beers. I'll smoke my weed and.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Because for me, basically, I can be wherever, you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it good for myself.
Yeah.
Because I can entertain myself with the little things. I'm gonna be fixing, I don't know, watches, whatever, you know. I'm gonna work on something. I can spend time by myself, hours and hours. I'm never gonna get bored. I always have something to do. So it doesn't really matter where I am. And it was just what mattered to me. It was that there is opportunity here. here, right? That was important because I'm not going to go from Croatia where there is no opportunity. There is opportunity, but you have to be super smart, well educated, and work like 0-24, bust your ass, and then you're gonna be a little bit better than everybody else, you know. And
did you have a valley of despair here in Canada that pushed you into starting your own business?
Sorry, what?
The valley of despair, like that sad moment. Did you have a sad moment that pushed you into starting your business?
Not really.
No?
Yeah, I just wanted. I knew I can make more money. I wanted more money, and that was it, right?
Because the story is pretty cool. Like how you initially started your business.
Yeah, because
I started off with a tire machine.
Yeah, so the guy that I was working currently, I spoke to him. Can I make more money? And at the time, I didn't have my journeyman ticket, so I was already paid way more than everybody else that didn't have the German ticket because I had experience. So I was paid pretty good for the guy who is not mechanic, right? Doesn't have a journeyman ticket, right? So I couldn't make more money on the current job. So I knew I can make somewhere else, right? At the time there was a construction going on, it was booming, and there was a fire in the Fort Mac. It was right after the fire in Fort Mac. So my buddy on the construction was making a lot of money. So it was making way more than me, and I could have made more than what I made at that time. Right. So that was either my option to make more money, either to stay where I am and talk to the current employer and see with him if he can pay me more. Of course, I was already paid way more than that I was supposed to be, so he couldn't pay me more for the work I did. And I left. I went to do the construction in front of mine, and where I was making more money than that.
Right.
And that's how I opened my first company for construction, because that was the only way how I could have worked for construction. That it's not for somebody, per hour and this and that, right? So I opened my first company, and we went in Fort Mac, and I remember first check after 3 weeks of work. First check we got $13,500. Man, after 3 weeks. What the fuck? My checks by then every 2 weeks were like $1,600 or something like that. I was making about $3,300 to $3,500 per month. And we went in Fort Mac. We were that was without taxes, whatever, right?
Yeah. So you're pulling about $9. You're pulling about $9.
Yeah, first
pretty good money.
Yeah, pretty good money, and that was it. That was like, man, that's it. No matter what it is, I know I can do it, right? So that's how it started, and then of course, 2 years later, Fort Mac was done. Everything was basically finished after the fire. All the houses were fixed and everything. So we came back to the city. In the city here, you were getting paid for construction, nothing, like dirt cheap. So we would always find a little job somewhere out of the city where you get a little bit of LOA, this and that, and it's you would make a little bit of money. Right. But still, if you wanted to do a little bit better, you would need to work like 10 hours shifts every single day for a full month, and you would make like 7-8 grand or something, like after the fire and after the Fort Mac, right?
You're hustling.
Yeah, so we're basically hustling. And then I started going back to the mechanics a little bit in the shop where I worked. I was fixing piecework there, some construction around Constantine on a few places, making some money. It was good because I had my own company. I would write off a lot of things, so I would be left with a little bit of more money than I used to.
Right.
So it was for the time, it was okay, I was fine with that. But it couldn't work for a long time because you only get so much work without ticket for the mechanical whatever is on that employer's personal stuff and fixing like that kind of things. So we are always coming back to the construction where you have to bust your ass in the city to make some money. And one day I was working one of the last days. I was just finishing some projects at the shop where I used to work. Yeah, I just finished some projects, and he had a machine for the tires, to change the tires. Machine to change
the tire machine. So basically, it's a machine where you can bust off the tire off the rim and put a new tire on. That's what a tire machine is.
Yeah. So he had it up for sale, and it was sitting for a few days, and I know what it is. It's a money-making machine, right? Nothing else, It's created for business to make more money, right? So it was sitting there for a few days. I was going by and I'm looking at it. Oh, it would be great, and this, and
He's looking at it deeply. Like it's actually looking at him.
Yeah,
so the tire machine was looking at you.
That was later on. First, I was just, you always, whatever you see, even on the marketplace and whatever, oh, this would be good. And then you have some ideas, but what if this, what if that? And then you start thinking about it. Overthinking, yeah, exactly. That's the same thing with that machine, right? And so I finished some work there, and I was thinking about that machine. I went home, and I had a dream where I'm coming. My grandpa was dead for a few years before that. I had a dream when I'm walking inside of the tramway, walking in, and my grandpa is sitting there, and I'm like, oh, grandpa, what are you doing here? And I asked him, what should I do? Should I buy that machine? And he turned around, looked at me, and said, what are you doing? And my dream ended. I was like, whoa, and I vividly remember that dream to this day. I went there, and I was talking to everybody about it, started talking to everybody about that machine. What can I do? How can I get it? Where I'm gonna put it, and can I work? Wherever I put it, in a garage or somewhere, can I work out of that garage? Considering it seriously after that dream, right? And I called my friend and I told him, listen, the guy that I'm working for, he has a machine for sale. You know what it is. It's a money-making machine, but I can take it, but I don't know where to put it. And he's like, put it in my garage. I'm like, that's it, done, okay. And I went there, I took it, you helped me to load it.
Yeah, it's really, really, really heavy. We loaded it with my truck, super heavy.
Yeah.
Very, very heavy.
Yeah.
And I didn't even get a beer. Until eventually I got beer.
Until later on. So we unloaded it in his garage, and then we started looking how to start working with the machine. You have a machine that is sitting there, but nothing's going on, right?
You gotta find sales.
Yeah,
you gotta find people that want their tires to be changed.
Luckily, he had a garage position like that we could work out, and because it was only tires, so we could do that kind of working from a garage. And we started advertising on the marketplace. People started coming little by little. It was right before winter, so right before the tire change season, right? Because everybody's switching from the summer tires to the winter tires. We started, it took off crazy. It was in the COVID, right before COVID. So people were avoiding shops and stuff like that. Lots of people are coming to us. We started making enough money to open a shop, right? To take the shop. So we took those machines, the balancing machine and tire machine, to the shop. We started working out of the actual big shop, right? Then we put on a hoist, and then I finished my journeyman. I got my journeyman ticket. We could have started doing mechanics.
You started your own shop.
So yeah, we expanded, right? So we started doing mechanical work and tire changing and all that stuff. We started making some money, right?
And that's the thing. Like when you take that leap of faith, it's amazing how many things start to fall in place. Like you're like, fuck my life, and then when you take that leap, when you go into the abyss. It's amazing how many things start to fall into your favor.
But craziest thing is how everything lined up. I was just finishing the last job in that shop. I didn't have any, he didn't have any more work for me. Construction was not doing anything, there was no jobs on constructions. I was thinking what I'm gonna do next. And that machine fell in,
Into your
came in
lap.
clutch, and everything lined up so perfectly that I was able to put it in my friend's garage. We had a space to put that machine and start working out of that garage and continue making on money, right? Which led to another thing, getting a shop. We didn't know it's gonna take off like that, we didn't know we were gonna be making crazy money on tires, that we can afford a shop and a hoist and equipment and stuff. But one thing led to another, and now we have a shop with 3 hoists inside and employees, and we've been in business for last 3 years, and it's 4 years even now. So
4 years.
Yeah, it's going great now. Now I'm at a pretty happy place. Of course, I'm never satisfied. Nobody should who is working for themselves. You're always looking to get better, to get more, to make more money, to expand more, and always looking what can you do better, right?
How do you take your business to new heights? Because either you do more cars or you do higher end cars, right? Like you go into the high end, very niche.
Basically, do more cars. You can do higher end cars and more cars. That doesn't stop you.
I mean, the niche would be more like, Lambos, Ferraris, McLaren, something where it's so specific that you need to be like, when they take it in, you're charging them 50 grand,
Yes, but you don't want to be based on only one thing.
Right.
Because most maintenance are the older vehicles. They take most maintenance out of all. They need to change suspension because they are most driven, right? You're not going to change a lot of things on a Lambo. You're going to do, maybe upgrade it, but that's another thing. Or maybe change the tires, oils, and that's about it, right? There is no lots of suspension, or there is no lots of fixing.
Well, the oil change is like 50 grand for those cars.
Some of them, but still, how often does he do an oil change, right?
Well, I'm sure if you charge 40, you probably get all the business.
You don't want to do only one thing.
Well, that was just like, because there's 2 approaches. You can do where the mass cars, which everyone drives, and then you can niche.
Yeah.
And that is a very specific niche. That clientele will never barter you for money. They're just going to be like, we want it done right. This is what we know what we have to pay.
Exactly.
That's the deal with this car.
And you can do both.
Yeah.
You can do both.
Can you work on those? Can you work on Maseratis, Ferraris, and Lambos?
Yeah, I did some. I did some work. Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Is it complicated? Because I heard a Ferrari. I mean, a Lambo has 3 oil pans.
Some of them even have not oil pans. You could call them oil pans, but oil drain plugs, like 5 of them or 6 of them. Depends on a car, right? But it's basically the same thing. It's just on different position. On every car is the same thing. Every car has to have certain parts to run and drive, right? So on the sports cars, big sports cars, they are more compact in a smaller place, more things together. Yeah. So that's about basically what it comes down to. They're all cars, machines. Of course, you have to have a certain knowledge to do it, and you always learn as you go, right?
So what are you planning on to expand in? Just on doing more vehicles, opening up more shops, or just getting your shop bigger?
Yeah, just doing more maintenance. Maintenance is I would say the best money, right?
Okay.
And more maintenance, more hoists, more employees, and then we can niche to another thing, right? We can open another shop that is going to be only for high-end vehicles, and have this shop that is going to be for maintenance of regular vehicles, right? Then you are into both businesses, right? You are not only niching for one, right?
Cool.
So that's kind of,
it's
not a goal, but that's what it goes to, right? That's the next step, right?
So now we have present day Canada, present day Croatia. Is the opportunity still here in Canada, or does Croatia now have? Okay. Does
For
Croatia
sure.
have more opportunity now? Or is it switch turning around, or is it still you're just
it's
nickel
way
and dime?
better. It's way better than it was. 100% better, because lots of people that were skilled and that they knew to do something, they left when it was the hardest time in Croatia. So now they are lacking the good manpower and good skill trades, right?
Right.
Which you, if you go back, you could make some money for sure. But it comes down that it's the same as here, right? You're not gonna be crazy rich or anything with doing a regular job. You're just gonna be busy, right?
Right.
So you can be busy here as well.
Right. Because this is that thing, like when things get tighter, in let's say Canada keeps going on the projection that it's going, so it keeps making it harder for you to live. It makes that one paycheck will barely cover life. People start looking for other options. So as it gets tighter for people, and let's say skilled labor isn't getting paid what they're worth, they will leave. And that's going to be such a detriment to Canada, right? Because I make videos and content on, I'm leaving Canada, not for per se, this is kind of the cherry on top of the position Canada's in, but I left because I just like beach lifestyle and I like building and I don't want those permits, and I just want to have a little less, I want a lot less government interference. Even though I know there's some things that are really good, but now it's just, everything is just taxed. Your income's taxed. Let's just say your fuel, 23% of your fuel is taxed. You put in $100, 23% goes to the government. So you're giving, let's say you made $100, I'm paying like 40%. So $40 goes to the government. And then if I fill up with fuel, another 20. So I'm making really $40 out of every $100 I make. That's all going to the government of Canada, which I'm not a big fan of. So you go to these other places, and I went to Ecuador for beach lifestyle, but I talked to a lot of people, and people want to leave Canada. People are unhappy here. And I think that's a major problem as a government that wants to make a country strong. If you have unhappy people that don't want to be here, like, you're going to lose important people.
Yeah, which is going to be people that are left here that are doing the trades job. They could charge more because they're going to be busier because some people left and there is no manpower as much as there was, and you could charge.
So there is benefits on that aspect.
So for some people, right?
But did that happen in Croatia? Did the people that stayed get that benefit?
Yeah.
Oh, so they started to be able to charge more because okay.
But those are only trade people, right? Those are not people that are working in the office or in the bank or something like that. Those positions, right? They're just tied to whatever they get paid, right?
Okay.
So for them, that it's really struggle. For a cashier, in example, in a store or something like that, they are there because they don't want to be at home and think about their life. Okay. That's what it comes down to. Right?
I got two questions. I think we were talking before. It's this like, you've been here in Canada, I've been here in Canada, and we make money, but really, let's say we had $100,000 net worth or $1 million net worth, like nothing really changes,
Yeah, you're still.
You still have your vehicle, but let's just say throughout your life, what do you think your purpose is? Like, what is the one thing that when you do, it's like you're in your zen, it's something that you always strive towards. You strive towards when you're younger, you strive towards to now. And how did you find that purpose?
Basically, just enjoy whatever you're doing, right?
But no, this is a very specific question. Like, I can tell you, like, I like to be creative, and I have hundreds of examples of me being creative. So I get an idea in my head, and I want to project that. So there's a lot of deficiencies, but there's one thing I'm good at is visualizing something and making it into an outcome, So I wrote a book, I built a house. I really love building something that wasn't there, now it is there, and it has some beautiful appeal. And then I don't even want to be in it. I just want people to go in there. I just like the whole process, right? Yeah. So I know what I like. I like creating film, and I want to make better films, and I want for people to consume because I like that, So what is the purpose that you think where there's a task that you do that you just love to do, and that you'd be like, I could do this all day long?
Winning at the small challenges, which everybody likes, right?
Yeah.
But,
So like starting a business.
yeah, not just the business, whatever you do, it's a little challenge, let's call it. I have a vehicle, for example, that I'm working on, and I don't know how I'm gonna fix it. What's the solution to it? But you're gonna find out, right? You're gonna do your research, you're gonna see what's wrong, what can I do to improve it, and then when you finish it, whatever you're doing, and you see that it's a win, that you came up with a solution, that it put you to a challenge.
So it's almost like problem solving then.
It's problem solving, yeah, through the whole life, right? Just a little wins through the day, right?
Right.
Yeah, and that's what makes you striving and go more, right? And
Right.
go forward, and then when you're becoming happier as you, right? Because you're winning, right? And then you want more of those challenges, more feeling good, right? So it comes down to winning in life, right?
Okay.
It doesn't need necessarily to be winning over other people, or winning in everything you do. That you are satisfied with what you did, and that you think you can do better, and then go ahead and do it again better, and analyze everything you do, and just be better as you, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
And my last question.
That's what's driving me, right? You know,
Right.
like how I fixed it, how I got it, man. It's such a good idea, right?
What was one of your favorite ones that just the vehicle right now, or is there a certain problem that really got you fired up?
No, nothing specifically. It can be anything.
Right.
It can be absolutely anything, right?
Okay.
It can be reading a book, and so reading a book, you read a single sentence.
I remember when I gave you a book.
Yeah.
Well,
I read it.
You read 17 pages of it.
At least 17, but it is just an example. You're reading a book. You can take one sentence and you can analyze it and interpret that single sentence to a million ways, right? And you can take it as a positive, take it as a negative, take it as a learning or something. But what can you do with that sentence? That's a win, right? If you can tell yourself whatever you want to tell yourself about that sentence, and if that sentence teaches you something and you learn something and you can solve some issue through your life with that single sentence, it's a win. You learned something from that book. You took it differently than everybody else. Everybody else was reading book and that's it, finished the book, that's it. You know, it's only one sentence from the whole book, but it's a win, right? You got the use out of what you were doing, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, my last question. You ready? Let's say you're on your deathbed. You're gonna die. You got 5 minutes to live. What's your biggest regret so far in your life?
The only regret that if you wanted something to do and you didn't do it.
No, what's your regret?
My regret.
Your specific regret.
I really don't have any regrets. I'm happy, but it had to be like that because everything lines up. Everything is for a reason,
So
right?
every time there's that moment of challenge, you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go.
Yeah, you know, not every time. If you see some value out of it or whatever, maybe you don't see. Maybe there is value, but you don't see it because you're caught up in some other situation. I was at one point, for example, I was mad at myself that I took the credit back in the day when I was a kid. Took way more money out of the bank than I should have. But that thing led to another things that are good actually. So is that really necessarily was bad thing that I took it? So can I be mad at myself? Do I regret it? Not really. No, so it had to be like that. So some other things would fall in place. So do I regret something? No, I really don't care. You know, like it just go as you are, what your guts tell yourself. And what I learned the most, it's listen to yourself. Take an advice, sure, and consider it, and put all the advices on a pile, but make your own decision.
Man, that's another thing, because everybody wants to tell you what to do.
Yeah,
and
that was.
You know what drives me up the wall the most is someone is telling you what to do in a specific thing that they know nothing about. Exactly. There is nothing that makes me more furious, and it's just like I'm pretty obsessed with content right now. And the only people I really want advice from is people that are better at content creating than me. I want to hear what you say when I ask, hey, what's your constructive criticism? How do I make this better? And there's specific people I ask because they watch a lot of content. But when there's someone that tells me that has absolutely no understanding, they don't watch, they don't consume it, and they try to tell me what I'm doing wrong or how I should do it. It's just like, you should shut the fuck up. You know nothing about it.
No, don't take it negatively.
No.
Because those are the watchers. Those are the people that are watching whatever they want to watch. So you have to also not consider it as advice or whatever, but you have to hear them out.
I understand that, but there's an understanding, or there's a certain niches, and you got to understand that basically as a brand you sell a certain product, and I have a vibe, and when you say, hey, you should completely change your vibe, it's like, that's not the people that are following me. Like, I am not a cook. I'm not going to sell cooking, you know.
But you know what tastes good and what looks good on the plate.
You can only be your brand.
Yeah.
The main thing with social media content is you got to be you, because people are buying you, right? And that's the deal. You can't be something that you're not. Like, the whole reason why they're watching you is because they're invested into you.
Because they can relate to you and your
There's
experience.
a whole spectrum of the human population that cannot relate to me. Right?
Of course,
they're not interested in what I do. They don't like the sprint car racing. They don't like the redneck. They don't like the window washing. They don't like. They want to watch cat videos. They want to watch other things. That's not my demographic.
Yeah.
My demographic is, you know, oil and gas workers and certain things. People that want to, you know, start businesses. People that are interested in stories. You know, that's a certain demographic. So those things, like, hey, you know what? You should put more cats in the video. It's like, no, you shouldn't. No, I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Cat people are like, maybe in the future.
You're not doing those videos to please other people.
Exactly.
You're doing whatever.
I'm doing the videos because I want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And you're hoping that more and more people are going to relate to it and like it and watch it for that same reason. Enjoy the videos.
There's one thing I've learned, and probably like maybe it took me about 14 months, is I remember I put my heart and soul in some of these videos, and they were complete flops. And it just came to the realization, it's like, it doesn't matter what I produce. It doesn't matter what I say. No one cares.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want. I'm gonna do whatever I want. I'm gonna say how I want to say it. I'm not here to please you. I'm not here to please any of you motherfuckers, because you guys don't even give one shit. So I'm gonna do what Ryan Wiersma does. I'm gonna say what Ryan Wiersma says, and then it kind of completely made content creating so much better, because it's like, you're not trying to, because there's people like, you gotta get the algorithm, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. It's just like, you fuck all that and you just be you. And then after probably 5 or 7 years, people get invested into your personal traits, you know?
That's everywhere is like that, right? My customers are coming to me because they like how I fix with
your brand.
My ideas.
They know what they're getting. They know if there's a mistake, you can come back, you'll fix it for free. They know this is the price, these are the deals, this is what's gonna happen. They're selling Marijan's brand. You're not selling Toyota, you're just selling you. People are coming to you because they like you. And that's the deal. People are always trying to tell you how to do things, right?
Yeah.
And
which is not necessarily bad.
No.
You always
I
have
think
to think about it, give it like 10 seconds. Does it make sense? How does it make sense? What can you benefit from it? Do I benefit from it? And ask yourself a few questions about every advice. If it doesn't check out anything, that's it. Forget it. Never happened. He's dead for me. I never heard it. What was it? You know, like completely forgot it.
Well, the main thing is, like, I guess perfect way to explain it is like, when let's say you want to get in shape, you don't take advice from a fat person. Let's say you want to get money, you don't take advice from a poor person. And let's say you want to get better at content, you don't take advice from people that don't make it. You take it from hardcore consumers, and you take it from people that have more followings. Like, hey man, look, this is what you're probably doing wrong, or know what, you're on the right track. If you keep that up the next year, you'll probably have some success. You know, content is a numbers game. Like, sales is a number game. And that's like the main thing. When you want to get better, you have to go to people that are better than you and take advice from them, because they have gone through the gauntlet. When you take advice from someone who has no understanding of anything, you take that advice. If you succeed, it's kind of their win. And if you fail, well, you get eaten with the pile of shit that happened.
which not necessarily you should hear them out as well.
Respectfully, maybe they
Yeah.
come with a nugget of gold.
Because they might say total bullshit, that totally something unrelated to it, but it might strike your idea for something next.
That's a possibility. I mean, you be respectfully as possible, but just remember when you take advice to heed with. I always say the intuition is, at least it's your decision, and if it doesn't work out, it's on you.
Yeah.
You know, that's what.
Exactly. Because the most times I was mad at myself is when I was listening to other people.
Yeah, and you're just like, well, I should have just done it my way.
Yeah.
And I took their advice, and guess what happened? My way would have won,
Yeah.
and now I'm kicking myself.
Yeah.
And they get left with nothing. They get left. No, just like, oh well, I guess that's the way she goes.
Even if it doesn't win, it feels better if I'm mad at myself than somebody else. You know,
Right.
I can forgive myself a little bit easier than somebody else.
Well,
You fucked me over.
Well, I fucked up. Well.
Well, okay, whatever.
At
What
least
can I
it was
learn
my
from
call.
it? Yeah. At least it was my call. Lots of people were telling me back home when I was working, when I was unsatisfied with my work, when I was thinking to leave, they were telling me, "Oh, be quiet. Look at the other people. They are not getting paid. At least you are making some money. You have work. You know, you have just be happy with it. Just be quiet and work. Just be quiet and work." And I was constantly telling everybody, man, but I'm not happy. It's not going to the good path, you know, like me as a person, I'm going down. I'm not going straight or up, I'm going down. It doesn't work for me. I'm stressing, I'm getting sick from stress, I'm not happy, it's miserable. I want to leave, I don't want to do that anymore. And everybody's telling you, from parents, from friends, occasion, everybody's telling you, hey, no, stay, you at least you get paid, be quiet, it's not bad paid either, you know, like. And you're thinking to yourself, fuck me, man, but I know I can do way better. I'm not happy. At least if I'm working for that much money, can I be happy with what I'm doing, you know, like, so don't listen too much to other people. Do your
advice waringly. Yeah. All right. That's the podcast.
There you go.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.